Sorry, man. Can't have a long first day, so I think I'll just head home. I didn't want to worry him too much, so I left out the little detail where I'll be going along the way, and who I was going with. Now I'm home, tapping a claw on the tabletop while looking over at me. Considering what happened this morning, that might be for the best. If I didn't know any better, I'd say it like almost look apologetic. Are you sure? There's gonna be a lot of people I know there. Kinda wanted to introduce you, get you familiar with everyone. I'll be fine, man. Think I want to start slow with the whole socialization thing. I reached over to pat his arm. How about this? Next time there's a party, I'll go with you. Sound good? Heh. He's one trying to get who out of themselves. He sighed, still looking a little crestfallen, but seemed willing to accept the compromise. Alright then. Guess I'll see you tomorrow? Yep, see you then, later. Camille smiled while Liam nodded to me as I got up from the table. Wyatt paused for munching on some more chicken to give me a wave. Guess Camille was right after all. They did seem pretty decent when Tucker was around. With that, I made my way out of the student center, shooting off a text to Connor as I stepped outside. Told him that I was sorry, but I couldn't meet up that night. I was in the middle of typing out a follow-up when he responded. Oh, that's okay. I'll just see you tomorrow then. I'm really sorry, man. You want to tell me where and when to meet up, and I'll be there. Could just find you in the courtyard again. Things are finally starting to slow down at work, so we should be able to start spending more time together. Hey, that's great. Guess I'll see you then, yeah? Yep, it's gonna be a good day, I can feel it. Don't forget what I told you at lunch, right? Think you'll find what you see pretty interesting. Sure will do. Later, man. Later. Yeah, I checked the time on my phone. Still a ways to go before 4 p.m., but I decided to head over to the north parking lot regardless. At least to make sure I knew where it was. Found the place easily enough. It was actually at the far end of one of the sidewalks leading away from the students. It was pretty much a straight shot to the north end of the campus. I looked out over the vast sea of black asphalt and cars of various makes, models, and colors. A few were already pulling out, the owners heading home for the evening. Didn't see any other students around, just other faculty, which happened to include a particular bison who was making his way down the path perpendicular to one I'd taken to get there. Mr. Baker, I waited to catch his attention, and as soon as he caught sight of me, he smiled and tried over. His briefcase tucked under one arm while the other pumped at his side. So, I suppose you decided to take me up on my offer? Yes, sir. Didn't really have anything else to do tonight, so not even waiting assignment in class. The stern expression on his face broke into a grin. He laughed loud and rumbling and waved his free hand. I'm just joking, don't worry. I may be strict in the classroom, but my opponents are not a hard ass 24/7. Can't imagine how miserable that would be. Yeah. The tension in my soul relaxed, and I offered him a small smile of my own. So, good to know that I'll have a +1 for this seminar. And you even got here before me. And now laughed a lot. And now a larger laugh. Guess you're eager to head out, Looking at the bison watching as he shifted from foot to foot, I could see that Mr. Baker looked so much more put together than he had earlier in his office. His expression steady and sure, his eyes focused. That strange, sweet smell nowhere to be found. Just occasional faint wrath of very masculine musk when the wind shifted just right. I cleared my throat, rubbed the crown of my head, and tried to ignore the bloom of heat across my snout. Yeah. Should we go now, or? The bison took a look at his wrist, and noticing he wasn't wearing a watch, he gave me a secret look. Do you happen to have the time? I pulled my phone out to check. Like 10 to 4? Still a little early, but that just means we can get better seats. Let's head on out then. He led me over to a squat bronze colored car. I think it was a station wagon from what I remember what Connor had shown me online once. After unlocking it, Mr. Baker gestured for me to climb into the passenger seat while he stored his briefcase in the back. Then he sat onto the driver's seat beside me, his arm pressing against my own over the center console. Sorry if it's a little bit of a tight fit. No problem at all, sir. No need for that sir stuff outside the classroom, Rex. He gave me a pat on the shoulder, then sat that hand on the back of my seat, craning himself around to look out the rear window while backing up. Mr. Baker, then? That was for me. And with that, we set off. The Bison asked if I had any preferences for music to listen to on the radio, or maybe one of the CDs in the center console. I shrugged, so he just turned it to some modern hits channel. Other. I wasn't really good at small talk. It seemed that neither was he. So we both just fell into an amiable silence. Mr. Baker focused on driving while I watched the scenery pass by outside the passenger window. Could have just let my mind wander, perhaps, if there hadn't been something distracting me. Something ever present. Something growling stronger with each passing moment. Something bitter, spicy. Just a little sweaty, and so very masculine. Mr. Baker's scent. It was natural, of course. All animals have their own specific pheromones, but it could be stronger or weaker, more or less noticeable, sweeter or more pungent. It wasn't anything to be ashamed of, nor was there any shame in taking notice of it. It was something which all animals would experience as they mature into adults, ready to find a mate. And just like that, into Mr. Baker's office, I was experiencing it all right. The rich and quite strong, though hardly unpleasant aroma of the older male's body and the effect it was having on me. My face flushing, my nostrils tingling, flavoring with each breath in, my pants growing tight as they were tinted by my arousal. I almost jumped out of my seat at that sound from the Bison. Miss Baker was still looking straight ahead, staring, unblinking, jaw tense and grip tight on the steering wheel. But I could see some red peeking through the fur inside his flicking ear, and on the border between his nose and the fur covering his snout. His breath was slow, even deep. He shifted in his seat, thighs pressing and rubbing together. My gaze dropped towards a movement, and that's when I saw the tent in his pants. Fuck. I must have been dreaming. There's no way that was actually happening. But when I gave that inside my bottom lip a sharp nip, and then suddenly wake up in bed with a terminal cause of morning wood. I was sitting there in the stuffy, slightly cramped car with my hot college professor, and we were both hard. So, this seminar, you said it was on prehistoric animals, right? Yes, that's right. Is that something you're really interested in? You could say that. Speaking as a history professor is always good to learn on the culture which came before us, our ancestors and their lives, and all that. Speaking personally, well, I glanced over Q and his gaze firmly on my face and chuckled. I was a really big fan of the Murlocs back when I was a cow. Oh, yeah, the Murlocs, Valley of the Vanis. I really liked pterosaurs back when it was first airing. Still though annoyed about the way they ended it though. I mean seriously, everyone loved the Claresons, and they do that to them. I get what they were trying to convey, but why end the series on such a down, you know? I know alone. Even when I admit I didn't know what the Bison was talking about, he just recommended I watch those shows for myself. He was so passionate about it that I couldn't help but make a mental note. By the time we arrived at the Natural History Museum, both of us had completely forgotten about that awkward moment of mutual arousal. Mr. Baker found a place to park. We could chatting about old movies and TV shows, the topic shifted to the feathers or scales debate while we wait in line to claim our free tickets. I went on conversing, joking, and saying a few laughs as we grabbed a pair of front row seats and waited for the seminar to begin. Finally, the lights dimmed, the projector started up, the first scheduled speaker took the stage and greeted the audience. Started with an overview of prehistoric species, the ancestors of modern-day animals, the various creatures that live in the primordial seas, the gargantuan insects that of course are dinosaurs, kings of the old world. Tragically reduced to fossils in the modern day, and there were only sketches and paintings based on those fragmentary remnants to give the masses an idea of what their forebears looked like. But I couldn't help shifting into my seat about how accurate some of those drawings were. Then there came a general overview of the historic timeline, the different eras and epochs, from the very beginnings of life to the extinction of the dinosaurs, and at least a presentation of theories about prehistoric culture, and perhaps more accurately, the complete and total lack of it. The dinosaurs had existed far before the advent of the first sapiens after all, and so, as whales tended to do, they lived and died by their feral nature. How do you want to know this? Being hunted in turn, breeding as often as they could to survive their harsh environment and conditions, doing whatever it took to survive. The Western audience applauded once the seminar was over. I just kept my head down even when Mr. Baker gave my soda a tap and said it was time to go. Even on the way out to the parking lot, even when I plopped into the passenger seat, Mr. Baker's station wagon buckling up while he started the car. The bison asked if he could drive me home, and I just nodded my head. The trip back to the lab complex started out silent, awkward, and full of nervous anxiety. Not even being cooled up when the bison sent again to lift my spirits. Well, that was interesting, huh? Mr. Baker coughed. So I'll drop you off at the gate. That's fine. Alright. He heaved out a sigh. Rex, I'm sorry. If I had known they would take the seminar in that sort of direction. I just shrugged. Hey, you heard them. It was a different time. Dinosaurs back then had to do whatever they could to survive, right? This ain't my job, my throat, my shoulders and limbs. Not their fault they were savage wilds. No, tapping his fingers on the steering wheel. I probably shouldn't say this. I'm not sure I even have the right to, but, well, I've been thinking about that question you asked earlier today. About the difference between wilds and sapiens. Yeah, I've heard there have been multiple case studies of wilds who, depending on how early in their lives they start, could be educated and civilized to basically fully sapient animals. They may still have a few lingering instincts, may be more in touch with their feral senses. It clearly still in my cheese grew hard as I dumped my head, but by all accounts, there is very little difference between a born and bred sapient and one who was born wild. I finally look over at him, stared, mind frozen. He just looked back at me, glancing forward to keep an eye on the road from time to time. When he finally pulled over to park near the entrance gate of the lab complex, the bison reached over and sat a hand on my shoulder. Careful, tentative, like he anticipated me turning to growl. Like he anticipated me turning to growl, snarl, war, bite, snap at him. But when I just relaxed back in my seat, letting out a gust of hell breath, he gave me a gentle reassuring squeeze. I suppose I should come clean. I happen to have learned about your unique circumstances, Rex. Not the full picture, of course, but well, Maybe to piece a few things together. Deep breath in, slow breath out. I guess that makes sense if you know my dad. I chuckled, chest tight, forcing out quick puffs. And the prehistoric species seminar was a go on the nose. Aha, yes, well, guess I thought that would be the most circumspect way of pushing the subject. Little by little, the tension was bleeding out of my limbs, out of my jaw, out from the corners of my eyes, but I was prepared to wipe it away. Mr. Baker either did not know us, or he chose not to comment. So, what now? Since you know I'm a bright young animal, like I said earlier, inquisitive and intelligent. If you don't mind me saying, very good company. I now read a certain squeeze on my shoulder, followed by a light jostle. Listen, Rex, I'm sorry about the seminar. My intentions were to break the ice using that as a jumping off point, so I could well. It was his turn to take a deep breath in and let a slow breath out. So I know about your circumstances that puts me in a good position to help you with them, as both an instructor and as a mentor. After all is through understanding our history that we're able to understand our world. We laughed, flicked one of his ears and let his gaze dart away. However, I wanted to make the offer regardless. I really would like to help you, Rex. I could continue to give you a lift home whenever you want, and whenever you want. We could just talk about anything. It was all kind of bent over to the steering council puts one arm between him and the driver's seat by a mansuit. I think I didn't like that, Mr. Baker. The bison humped me back as best as he could, and a soft laugh that woman threw me. When I peeked out at his face, I saw that he was smiling. I think we know each other well enough by now to talk the Mr. stuff too. Please call me Brandon, Rex. The expression grew stern for just a moment. But only outside class, understand me? Yes, sir, Brandon. Mr. Baker, Brandon, sighed and shook his head while I gave him a playful glance. Now, seriously, I recommend you do the reading for next time as soon as possible. I'll be expecting more good questions for you, so you better read with that inquisitive mind of yours at full force. Okay, will do. If you like another ride home tomorrow, I'll be in the North parking lot at the same time today. I think I'll more is the regular recommendations for you to check out. In the meantime, there's a lot for you to catch up on. He chuckled. Until then, have a good night, Rex. Take care, right? Thank you, Brandon. You too. I finally unbuckled my seatbelt, got out of the car, and gave the bison a wave as he drove off. From there, it was just a matter of buzzing myself in through the gate, taking a short walk down the residential lane, and unlocking the front door of Dr. Abraham's house before I was home. I stretched, grunting and groaning. I twisted my back and cracking my neck. Then I went to the bathroom, rinsed off in the shower, freshening up from the day, getting ready to settle in for the night. Once that was done, and I had gotten dressed, I checked my phone to see whether I missed any messages from the researchers. Nope, nothing. I decided to set my phone aside, then took a seat at my desk to wake up my computer, a larger and apparently older, more basic desktop. Dr. Abraham had decided it would be necessary for me to keep up with my education since I hadn't been cleared to attend school until that year. It was even connected to the lab's intranet, so I had plenty of resources to learn what I needed to, as well as contact with the other researchers who were monitoring my progress. Of course, the lab's firewall had always prevented me from accessing the internet, but it was no match for a certain troublemaking rooster whose uncle was with the maintenance team, or security, one of those two. In any case, Connor had shown me how to bypass the firewall, and from there, an entire world had opened up for me. cartoons and movies when I was younger, shared with my two only friends, and we spent what few nights free from adult supervision we could get. And then when the stealings of adolescence had begun, all the porn I could ever dream of seeing. However, that night, there was something in particular I had in mind to look up. I rose from my desk chair to look for my discarded pants, and rifled through the pockets to find my receipt from lunch. As Khan had said, there was an 8-digit long string of numbers printed at the very bottom, nothing to indicate what it was for, but, let's see, 895-26741T. When I typed it into this research bar, I was redirected to a global nutrition database. Scroll past the bits of international law and regulations around transparency of information down to the explanation what that code actually was. It seemed that the first two digits were the country of origin, the next three were the species, and the last three were a designated ID. So 89 was all the way on the other side of the world in Macau. And 562 was Banyan. What was Banyan, huh? I typed cow apparently made sense. And when I scrolled down and find number 741T, I found a link to an entire profile page. Lee Wei Chi, age 47 at the time of death. A white farmer who lived in one of the rural provinces. Survived by his wife and 5 children. Caused a death accident involving his farm equipment. Poor thing. I closed that tab with a huffed out sigh. Primaries were eaten by secondaries, and both were eaten by apexes. That was the natural order of things. No matter how advanced civilization had become, biology couldn't be changed. Still, I couldn't help feeling twinges in my stomach at having a name and face put to the meat I'd eaten. Setting those thoughts aside, I skipped out on dinner and spent the rest of the night studying. Decided that I might as well get that reading for history over and done with. I probably greeted Dr. Abraham when he checked in on the intercom, then got right back to it. Lights out was at 10. I settled in the bed, closed my eyes, and tried to get some sleep after my first long day of college. I woke up with a groan after a restless night of tossing and turning. Kept having more strange dreams, memories, whatever you want to call them. I don't know if it was just the anxiety of starting up classes or that seminar the day before made me think about before. Looking up that nutrition database code like Connor had wanted me to didn't really help much. I needed to remember to have him make it up to me. In any case, by the time Dr. Abraham called to make sure I was awake, I'd already taken alongside him and was in the middle of getting dressed. There wasn't any note from him. I finally made my way down to the kitchen, but there was another breakfast sandwich waiting for me. I couldn't stop myself from looking over the package for one of those codes while it was heating up in the microwave. Thankfully, there wasn't one. Or it was on the box those individually packaged sandwiches had come from. I decided to just push that thought aside, shove the thing to my mouth hole, and head out the door. Took a deep breath of the fresh morning air as soon as I got outside, wandered down the sidewalk to the lab complex, then head out onto the public streets. Again, there weren't all that many animals around on my walk to the campus, so I could just take it all and come to the outside world, all the sights, and let my mind wander. The night before had been cathartic, even if the attempt was bungled. I anticipated what Mr. Baker Brandon was trying to do with the seminar. His reassurances really were appreciated. It didn't matter what had happened in the past. It didn't matter when and where I was born, how I come to be where I was. I knew everything and understood everything. He didn't care. He even wanted to act as a mentor to me, someone who I could talk to about anything, someone to recommend things I missed out on, someone to discuss and share things with, someone from outside the lab. I had to drop by his office during one of the breaks between my classes to talk from the day before. I was already looking forward to seeing him again. As I approached the front gate of the university, the commotion up ahead derailed that train of thought. There were a lot of animals gathered around the courtyard, way more than there had been the morning before, and a bunch of cars in front at the gate with flashing red and blue lights. There were even some animals in uniform trying to herd the students around,